Arsenal are planning an approach to Crystal Palace for Eberechi Eze. There is a lot of news coming out with Rodrigo. Could he leave Real Madrid on loan? And the meltdown from yesterday's defeat against Villarreal has got Arsenal fans demanding more. The amount of comments I saw on my match reaction yesterday, on other people's match reactions, Arteta needs more. He needs to find a style of play who suits Victor Gyökeres. Listen, lads, it could be worse. I've just lost James Maddison for 6 to 7 months due to an ACL injury. And boy, oh boy, we are going to let rip on that. Make sure you're there later on for that live stream, plus Tottenham versus Bayern Munich later. But listen, the reaction in yesterday's game, I thought was a little bit over the top. So we're going to break it all down. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts. Well, do you know what's crazy? 93% of everyone, yes, you watching right now, 93% of everyone who has watched the channel in August so far, a week into this calendar month, has not subscribed. And we are just under 250 away from hitting 71,000. So if you haven't already, please go down and hit that subscribe button. Before we get into the Eze and Rodrigo news, I want to talk about the reactions to yesterday's game. Two big alarming things for me I saw in that game from the way Arsenal played. The first big alarming thing was Arsenal must find a way to maximize Victor Gyökeres in this system. They don't have as much creativity as some people like to think they do. They've got Martinelli on the left-hand side, who is struggling beyond belief. Is it a confidence problem? Is it a quality problem? Even some of the most loyal Arsenal fans to Martinelli are slowly losing patience. On the right, you've got a world-class talent in Bukayo Saka. You've got Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Zubimendi, which is a very good functioning midfield. But for me, every single time they got the ball, they were spamming crosses. That isn't the way Arsenal have played the last 2 or 3 years. They've mixed it up with set pieces, counter-attacks, wing play. Saka and Martinelli beating their man, getting the shot away. This pre-season, we haven't really seen that. Tottenham, we put up an unbelievable defensive display against them. You know, Sarr catching Raya off his line, an unbelievable goal. On another day, that would never happen. They beat Newcastle, they beat AC Milan, but they were vulnerable yesterday to a counter-attack. Now, people are losing their minds. Norgard's not good enough. Zubimendi's not good enough. One thing I will say to you guys, if Arsenal go and beat Man United, go and beat Leeds, and go and beat Liverpool in their first 3 opening games, no one is going to care one single bit about this preseason. Preseason, for me, the results aren't necessarily important, but what is very, very important is the performances. And the performances in the final third for Arsenal haven't been that great. You know, one shot on target against Tottenham, the same amount of shots on target as Villarreal had, but somehow Villarreal scored 3 goals. Arsenal, one of their goals was a penalty, and the other one was a back post header from Norgard. They aren't creating clear-cut chances. Villarreal created more big chances in this game. Nicola Pepe have a great finish, and Danjuma have a great finish. Arsenal need creativity, which then leads me on to the subject of today. And the two players that once again are being heavily, heavily linked with Arsenal is the report coming out from the Times, from Gary Jacob, and other sources that Arsenal plan to approach Crystal Palace about Eberechi Eze and an attacking midfielder, and they must wait to see if Rodrigo, a forward, can leave Real Madrid on loan. I think personally, we'll start with Eberechi Eze. Tottenham have now just lost James Maddison, which is really, really, really crap for us. Dejan Kulusevski is just getting over a surgery. So we need a 10 more than any team right now, to my knowledge. If Tottenham go and pay the money for Eberechi Eze, I'll be over the moon. Everyone knows my thoughts on him. He's a fantastic player. He'd suit our system to a team. But if Arsenal lose out on Eberechi Eze, hypothetically, let's say he stays at Crystal Palace, or let's say hypothetically he joins Spurs, that is going to be a very tough pill to swallow. Arsenal, in the perspective they're in, need another creative player. Martin Odegaard is creative, But in terms of goal contributions, doesn't do or hasn't done enough in the last year or so for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice were the most creative players last season. But you've only got to watch what has happened this pre-season for Max Dowman at 15 years of age to come on, to constantly beat his fullback, to get down to the byline, to put crosses into the box. He's won 2 or 3 penalties so far. Max Dowman, as a generational talent as he is, as a wonder kid as he is, he should never be coming into the team as a 15-year-old and being their most creative player. Arteta has to change things. And he has to change things to maximize the creativity for Gyökeres. You just signed a gunman. You've just signed the best goal scorer in European football. A guy that's got over 100 GA in 100 games. A guy that's hat-tricks against Man City in the Champions Leagues or whatever it was, braces against Man City. A guy that's played in England before in the Championship. You need to create as many big chances for Gyökeres as you can. The way you do that is by signing players like this. They've had a very good window up to now. And I'm telling you guys, the front three next season for Arsenal, if they don't sign both of these, will be Madueke, Gyökeres, and Saka. And is that going to be as strong as potentially Ekitike or Gakpo, Isak, and Salah? For me, it's not as strong. But if Arsenal fans, I'll ask you a question. If you were to go out there tomorrow or the day after and then drop, say, 130, 140 million pounds on both of those players, I don't think anyone would really care about this preseason. At the end of the day, they have to go and beat Bilbao, in my opinion, because it's about a confidence booster before the start of the season. Now, AFTV have put out the same report from Gary Jacob. Will Arsenal be able to bring in Rodrigo on loan? Arsenal are waiting to see if Real Madrid allow Rodrigo to leave to advance. Now, Rodrigo hasn't actively handed in a transfer request, but according to big credible sources, Xabi Alonso believes, the report says that Real Madrid believe Rodrigo could still leave. You know, you've got Arsenal fans, you have got about just under a month or so, 25, 26 days left of the transfer window. Arsenal have to make this count. They have to go out there and bring in these creative players. You look at the start of the season for Arsenal, and it is a tough start. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You know, they've got Man United in the first game, and then after that they play Leeds. After that they play Liverpool, and then Forest, and then City. The opening 8 games or so they face, like, I'm not saying they will be 10 points or 15 points behind Liverpool, but they have to make these last 3 weeks in the transfer window count. They've got Bilbao. Is Bilbao on the 9th? Yeah, Saturday they play Bilbao. Then Sunday, on the opening game of the season, they have got Manchester United. So Man United opening game of the season, I think they'll win. I think they beat Leeds. Liverpool away, I think that game could end up a draw. Forest, they'll probably beat. Man City and Newcastle, who knows? Liverpool, have got an unbelievable record at Anfield, but Arsenal have got a very good record in the last few years on the top 6, big 6 games. So, listen, it's going to be a very, very interesting start of the season for Arsenal, but they have to bring someone in now. Like, looking at yesterday's games, if I just show you some of the stats in the Bilbao game, which, if I was an Arsenal fan, would be slightly alarmed at. And the first stat is the fact that Villarreal created more big chances, right? The second stat is that look how clinical Villarreal were on their shooting compared to Arsenal. Then you're probably thinking, oh, it's only pre-season. I hear that. I understand that. But it's still important to look at overall games this season. Then you look at the 1-0 defeat against Tottenham in terms of the stats. They only created one big chance, which was the same amount as Spurs created. Tottenham had the same amount of shots on target as Arsenal, but Tottenham scored. They have to find a way to maximize creativity and to maximize the amount of chances that is created for Victor Gyökeres. And they do that simply by signing those 2 players. If not, you've got Rafa Leao that's out there. If not, they could go and sign maybe Gordon or go and sign Rodgers from Villa. They have to think in the next couple of days, weeks in this window and try their absolute best to have the best window they can. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you soon.